Hi, Ryan Dotson here with SurvivalSullivan.com. Today I want to show you how to set up what's called a water trap, which is another really simple trap design that you can use to catch any kind of small animal that you have the appropriate bait for. The design and the way that it operates, it doesn't get a whole lot more simple than the water trap. Basically, it's a container filled with water, not completely, typically about halfway, and it has to have slick sides. So something that's glass or plastic is going to work especially well. For this one, we're using a square 3-gallon bucket. 5-gallon bucket works well, and those are to target smaller animals. Typically, when you're using a bucket like that, you're going after mice or maybe rats or chipmunks. If you want to go after something larger, you might want to step up to a trash can. I've done it both ways, and both ways work just fine. You just use larger components for everything that you put together. So basically, you've got your container that's about halfway full of water, and then you've got some sort of a ramp to allow the animal to get up to roughly the height of that container. In this case, I set the bucket over by some landscaping bricks, and I've got a sprinkler over there, so that puts it right at the proper height to where an animal can climb onto the stick that we're going to have kind of balancing on the edge of this. And the way it works is you're going to have the one end of the stick resting on something outside of the bucket so that the animal can climb onto it, and then you're going to have the other end suspended in the center of that bucket, and that's where you're going to put the bait. Now, as far as bait, there's a lot of different things that you can use depending on what animals you're going after. For this one, I'm going to use peanut butter just because pretty much all animals will go after peanut butter. So if you have something like that, that's always nice. But I mean, you can use beef jerky or fruit or anything sweet is a good idea. Nuts work pretty well, so just whatever you have available. And so the way it works is your critter is going to climb up whatever kind of structure or ramp that you have on the side. It's going to climb onto one end of the stick, and then it's going to scale that stick and walk down into the center of the bucket to try and get at that bait. And if you've got it balanced just right, what'll happen is when it goes for the bait, it'll fall into the water, and then you can come back for it the following day or however often you want to check your traps. I always check my traps at least twice a day, in the morning and the evening. But in most cases, if the animal falls into a water trap, it's going to drown, and so you're not going to have to worry about it escaping. You do have to, though, pay attention to other animals that might be going after your prey that you just caught. So you do want to get to it in a reasonable amount of time so that nothing else comes along. And typically, if another animal is going to snag your meal, it happens at night. So that's why I check in the morning and the evening. Anyways, that's the general concept. I'm going to take you outside and show you exactly how this thing operates, and we can go from there. So to get this to balance just right, I ended up ditching the sprinkler, and I'm using this sponge instead to get the appropriate height to where this will balance properly. As you can see, we've got water about halfway up this 3-gallon bucket. I just used a paint stir for the stick. Of course, if you're using a larger like trash can or something like that, you're going to want to use a board instead of a stick so that you have a little bit more length. You want to adjust the size of everything if you're going to go bigger with your trap. You can see I got peanut butter on one end there. The animal should be able to climb up that sponge to get on the stick, and you can see the wind itself almost knocked that over. It's just barely balanced on there. So as soon as that animal comes over and tries to climb on this, then that'll fall in and the animal will be stuck. That is just a really simple version of the water trap, so you can put one together for yourself. And again, this is Ryan Dotson with SurvivalSullivan.com. I appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you.